Canada's worst handymen have each designed an eco-shed, but only one of the 5 frames created in here would even pass a building code inspection, and 3 of these monstrosities are too tall to even go out the front door. Our builders have some serious decisions to make. Either they leave these things exactly as they are, or they renovate the frames before they get totally out of control.
Over the course of this 9-show series, the 5 most atrocious amateur builders in the entire country will each completely construct a shed using environmentally friendly building supplies.
This is not paint. This is some weird eco product that is the future of paint.
Our bad handymen don't know that these sheds have already been auctioned off on eBay. The money raised is going to be donated to Habitat for Humanity Canada. And one of these do-it-yourselfers will be crowned Canada's worst handyman.
I want to know how we're gonna fix it.
We didn't just drag these sawdust makers in off the street. They were nominated for our embarrassing title by you. Candace from Calgary was brought to us by her husband, Justin.
I'm looking forward to sitting back, relaxing, and getting a couple of laughs out of watching Candace.
Candace thinks she's a building expert.
In your head, you're an expert, aren't you?
I am.
Because she's watched a lot of it on TV.
I like watching Homes on Homes, Trading Spaces, Ty Pennington on Extreme Makeover, Designer Guys, Make Rough How Not to Decorate.
Candace has almost zero hands-on experience.
Oh my God. Is it supposed to make that noise?
Yeah?
Even so, she looks down on her husband, who's a construction worker.
I don't mean he's stupid. Well, I'm just saying I'm smarter than him.
I work with tools. I work with my hands.
He does sheet metal.
Candace calls this her toolbox. She calls this a finished handrail. And she calls this a scale model of her future shed.
I think it's not bad from the blueprint.
Jeff from Mississauga thinks handiwork is typing on his BlackBerry. His pal Fred can't take it anymore.
The last time I saw Jeff pick up a hammer and use it would have been about 10 years ago.
Jeff is a delicate flower with no calluses.
He's got very soft hands. His hands are probably softer than mine.
Are you sure the hammer's not going to slip out of your soft, moisturized hands?
One way Jeff stays supple is by conveniently keeping his toolbox in a storage locker 3 miles from his house.
The last time I went to get the toolbox from the storage locker was...
Pick a decade.
When Jeff finds a home repair problem, he sometimes sticks with it.
This is the hole in the wall that I fixed by using masking tape.
And sometimes does nothing.
It's been like this for about 5 years. We have the door, we have the hinges, just don't know quite how to put the hinges on the door.
Ruth was nominated as Canada's worst handyman by her daughter, Michelle.
This is my cupboard door that I made. But it won't stay shut for some reason.
At home in Capel, Saskatchewan, Ruth is a fearless builder. She tackles projects even if she has no idea how to do them.
She's built her deck, she installed a fan, she's done her tub surround, she built shelving, all of the painting, her counters, her cupboards, her anything.
And for Ruth, safety is rarely a concern.
Ow. You bruise it.
The next nominee for Canada's worst handyman is Terry.
This is my birdhouse.
Terry was made a candidate by his buddy Harv.
You son of a I heard.
At home in Sault Ste. Marie,
This is the ultimate man shed.
Terry has a shed full of tools he doesn't know how to use.
I bought a What's that thing called, Harvey?
It doesn't matter. Terry's slanted shed isn't for working in, it's for drinking beer in.
Every man should have a shed like this because it's a home away from home.
Translation? It's a home away from his wife, Angie.
And I can look in the mirror and see my wife coming down the sidewalk. She asked me, "Hon, what are you doing?" "Oh, nothing."
Jaime, our last candidate, was nominated by his mother-in-law, Sheila.
My mother-in-law lives 3 blocks away.
Tour's not done yet?
She's always here.
And she's always ready to talk about how inept Jaime is.
Drywalling's not finished. Windows need to be sealed trim around the ceramic. The list goes on and on and on.
Jaime and his family moved into this fixer-upper 3 years ago.
There's a mountain of work here.
Jaime needs to become a better handyman to save money
Fix these stairs.
and to get Sheila off his back.
He's a man. He should know some of these things.
In our debut episode, the candidates for Canada's worst handyman tried to hook up to the water supply.
The main water supply. Precipitation.
On the roof, they pooled their talents together and made this kind of abstract funnel, which directs rainwater into this blue bucket. But when they finished,
Drill it right about here.
I think it's right down here.
Jaime inexplicably drilled a hole in the bottom of the barrel.
That's not a bucket anymore.
Today, he and I head back to the scene of the massacre.
What are you thinking putting a hole in the bottom of your bucket anyways?
To see if we can patch things up.
This is a trick that I learned from fishermen at home.
To seal plastic, get a blowtorch, some pliers, and a piece of steel. When the metal's hot enough, lay it in place and quickly cool it down before it melts through.
And that's bucket surgery 101.
The eco-friendly water this barrel catches will be used in future projects.
Nice.
Because he was named Most Improved in our opening episode, Jeff is the foreman of today's group challenge.
You have Canada's worst handyman. You have a pile of reclaimed bricks. You have a few bags of pre-mixed mortar. And you have some water that's collected through your guy's funnel. I'm sensing either a brick barbecue or a disaster set in stone. Make me barbecue.
Jeff lists his occupation as a management consultant. So, as a foreman who's never done any brickwork before,
There's instructions on the bag.
you'd think he would manage to consult the instructions. Instead,
You gotta leave a space.
Jeff begins by guessing
No, I don't think there's a space.
incorrectly.
No, there's no space. I'm not a dictatorial type of leader, although my staff may differ.
Jeff tells his workers to start by placing
a layer of brick at the bottom.
Do you want to kind of look at the picture they have here to lay bricks?
to build a brick barbecue. You can go with any pattern you want, as long as it involves plenty of mortar, ample ventilation, and a way to balance the grill. A traditional 3-walled structure is easy and effective. Just be sure to make every row level and straight.
Starting to look good.
This is looking pretty good.
But this bone-dry, gapless foundation doesn't look good at all.
Do we need a base?
Well, I'm making a call that this is our base.
Jeff should call for the instructions. Then he'd know that masons always
Wet bricks thoroughly before laying.
This mortar will dry hard to itself, but not to these dry, dusty bricks.
That's not straight.
Jeff needs help.
Cement bonds to things by getting inside it and then hardening, right? If you dip the brick in water, it's going to draw some of the cement in better and you'll get a far
better bond.
So, wet bricks are now being mortared to the loose bed of dry ones.
So do you think we used enough down here to hold that firmly?
Oh, the bottom I think we're fine.
Yeah?
Jeff isn't fine anywhere.
You put more butter than that in a slice of bread for a prisoner.
As a verb, the word butter means to put mortar on bricks. The instructions say that you should lay bricks into position after buttering the end. Jeff doesn't do that. And he really doesn't lead.
If a good team succeeds, you don't know there's a leader.
This team isn't succeeding. Some of their mortar is too thin, and some's too thick.
These bricks are not straight.
Getting bricks straight doesn't take rocket science. It takes it to a torpedo level. We gave Jeff one for setting individual bricks. He hasn't touched it or his long level.
I don't know what happened here. Bricks are not the same size.
Jeff is allowing mismatched bricks to be stacked between layers of now crumbling mortar.
It's just it's starting to get a little bit harder to work with now.
I'm sure this is never gonna work. This cement's too dry.
Jeff should know why we gave him one of these tools. It's called a pointing trowel.
Doing it is called pointing? You've seen brickwork has that nice smooth run like that?
Yeah. Do you want to point away?
While Jaime points, Terry ventilates.
No, to put a hole so it can breathe.
Yeah, I know what
You know
you're
what I mean?
saying. Yeah, I do.
So do we put it like this here, or like that?
That won't hold it. No.
Maybe put a brick in there with holes standing up.
But is that going to achieve the draft?
Not really, but it looks good.
It won't look good for long. Now it's draftier.
I like it.
Okay, good.
Brought some visitors.
And the visitors aren't impressed.
Shouldn't it be wetter?
You guys building a chimney?
What's that hole in there for? Is
That's
that...
for air.
Oh, you guys are brilliant, eh?
That's enough from the peanut gallery?
Does anyone have any positive input for us here?
I sure wouldn't want to form like this guy around.
Mr. Foreman, why is this not level, and why have you never checked it with a level once?
It's part of my design concept. I was going for the eco/artistic/rustic look.
Going for the professional look, Jaime attempts to finish level.
Let me just put some more cement on here.
Jaime, you're going too high there.
But it's too little, too late. It's so pointless, Jaime doesn't even bother to finish.
How did this go, Mr. Foreman?
I think it went well.
Nominators?
I think as a team, we worked great.
Jeff's barbecue is toast. After the break, we'll go ringside for a battle between lightweights.
Next week,
I don't know if I'd do what you just did.
if you try to hammer a point hole,
Oh, I almost got you.
they'll just screw it up.
You're just a faster screwer.
Because when wires are crossed, they're still on the level.
Good power!
As they work to build on their skills,
Ever get a feeling of impending doom?
they're all bad.
Why would you just do that?
But who is Canada's worst handyman? The competition continues next week.
Since getting to our rehabilitation center, most of the nominees for Canada's worst handyman have been bonding.
Anybody got a smoke?
But Jeff and Ruth have been cultivating a rivalry.
There are no issues between me and any other cast member. That may be Ruth.
Before Jeff even met the other candidates, he felt superior.
I'm smarter than them.
Oh, he's an ass.
Yeah.
I am smarter than the rest of them.
He's the host's ass.
Not necessarily bad but smarter than the rest of the candidates.
Them's fighting words. Jeff issues a challenge.
One nail, least amount of strokes wins, loser goes home.
It's a showdown of epic proportions. In the blue, the aggressor, Jeff Soft Hands Gignac. And in the white, it's Ruth, the half-pint Summersides.
Fastest one to countersink the nail. On your mark, get set.
They start in a frenzy. And they stay that way. It's looking like a photo finish. Who won?
I need to review tape. I have no idea.
In the slow-mo replay, you can see Ruth make her final stroke, while Jeff needs 2 more smacks. Jeff is the loser, and Ruth is the worst champion.
Bye. Bye.
Jeff really got a nice case of humble pie handed to him.
Everyone was cheering because he is kind of arrogant.
I actually contend that I won.
He is so arrogant.
I actually gave several extra hammer strikes to prove a point.
Before Canada's worst handymen can move on to wiring their eco-sheds, they need to redesign their frames correctly. So, our head rough carpenter, Jill Rydell, is explaining it to them.
We've got some big issues with your sheds.
Jill has been teaching carpentry for 14 years.
His design is really sad. It sucks, actually.
Jill's right-hand man here at the rehab center is Greg House, a general contractor with 24 years of professional home building experience.
You guys don't know how hard it is watching you make hamburger with screws.
Together, Jill and Greg teach classes.
Less wood, more insulation. It's always better.
Answer questions.
Mix water to powder.
Water to powder.
And join me at the end of every episode to determine who is the most improved handyman and who is the worst.
Okay, let's talk about basic framing principles.
After this class, our bad builders will redesign their existing shed frames.
The wall system, you can make them shorter. If you want to make the roof higher, that's up to you.
The big reason we're teaching this class is to get Jaime, Candace, and Terry to shrink their sheds.
This is awesome.
When everyone designed their frames, they were given a maximum height.
Your shed's overall height
Must not exceed
9 feet.
9 feet 2 inches.
But Jaime's shed is almost 11 feet tall.
You knew that you were breaking this rule?
Yeah, kind of.
Candace's is taller.
It's a lot of lumber for something called an eco shed.
Yeah.
And Terry's is even taller.
I don't see nothing wrong with it. That's an awesome shed.
You could make 2 stories.
6 feet, 6 feet. You know, put the tools on the bottom and like a little room upstairs with TV and all that other stuff. That'd be awesome.
Jaime's redesign doesn't lower his shed the crucial 2 feet.
Bring it down 10 inches.
10 inches? Jaime thinks our height restriction is just a made-up number. He doesn't realize it's the height of our warehouse door.
I'm still over by 1 whole foot, so...
So, he'll have the same problem as Terry.
Keep it 8 feet the way it is, and the roof will be a foot peak.
That's a total of 9 feet tall. But Terry's forgetting about his 8-inch subfloor, which means his final design is 6 inches higher than our door. Ruth's tiny shed frame doesn't need to be redesigned at all, but she suddenly has height envy.
Make these walls 8 feet 10.
That raises the roof almost 3 feet, meaning our shortest candidate will wind up with the tallest shed.
Might be a little high.
Jeff's shed lacks studs and height. So, for his redesign,
I'm figuring maybe another stud.
And he's figuring on more wall height.
9 feet from the around then.
9 feet plus the 6-inch roof means Jeff's shed keeps the streak going. All 4 redesigned sheds are higher than our 9'2" height restriction. Candace's original fortress of studs is also too tall. For her redesign, Candace wants to keep 1 wall stud for every 3 she gets rid of.
Gone, 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 keep, gone, 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 keep, gone, 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 keep.
And for her roof,
I would like to bring it down 1 foot instead of 3.
making Candace's future height 9 feet.
It is pretty sturdy, so I think it will turn, the finished project should be pretty nice. Okay,
Thank you. When the reconstruction is done, Candace's shed will be the only one low enough to fit through the door. While our building team gets to work altering the shed frames, the handymen move upstairs so we can find out how knowledgeable they are when it comes to standard tools.
Not a cheese grater.
This coping saw is used for delicate slicing.
Not sure.
Wood saw?
A small hacksaw?
This dull-edged bevel is used for measuring angles.
Kind of like a X-Acto knife sort of thing?
No, I don't really know that one.
I have no idea what that is.
I know what that is. That's about that level for your, the peak of your roof.
That's the worst answer. The worst person is Jeff, who only recognizes 3 of the 11 tools. After the break,
I don't think that's how it works, Mom.
the bad builders adjust and readjust.
If we didn't have a time limit,
You'd be here all day.
If you're extremely bad at home repair, you're still better than these people. The country's most talentless amateur renovators are in Toronto, building eco-sheds to see who is Canada's worst handyman. To get electricity into these eco-sheds, we're giving everyone solar panels. And today's first project.
Your next challenge is going to be building a frame for your solar panel. Take a good look at this and make one.
One solar panel is able to capture enough energy for 2 light bulbs and 2 standard wall outlets. The tempered glass can withstand golf ball-sized hailstones, and lucky for us, these photovoltaic cells work better in cold weather. Before the bad builders start swinging their hammers, they all descend on the prototype frame looking for inspiration. To complete this 20-minute job, we're giving them each an hour to go from concept to construction.
You measure. I'm not doing that for you.
I can't do it without a diagram.
Then draw it.
Good plan. First, the frame needs a bottom. Then screw on the upright back pieces. When attaching the brackets, make sure this angle is exactly 60 degrees. Then, add a top piece for strength, and you're done.
Okay, so which section do you think we should build first?
Terry starts by measuring the base and marking its length on his own board.
I'll go double check.
Well, how'd you mess that up?
What the hell?
I'll just put a squiggly mark through that.
Instead of a line, Ruth barely makes a dot. And Jeff's cutting guide is made by Fred.
You gotta measure something, don't you, or have you?
Where's the saw?
To saw the lumber, Terry uses his handsaw.
Oh, come on.
Ruth uses her jigsaw.
Watch your fingers.
I will.
And Jeff uses Fred.
There you go.
Did you mark it?
Yeah.
Now the fun begins.
That's not straight.
That's not straight.
That's not straight at all. Just draw a line. You could use anything to draw a line.
Every handyman has one of these combination squares, specifically designed to draw perfect perpendicular lines on lumber. Ruth is finally trying to use hers.
Oh, Mom, you're not doing that right.
You want to do it?
Just draw a straight line.
All right, I gotcha.
But you're not doing it right.
The first time we saw Candace cut a piece of wood, it took her, wait for it,
We're gonna be here all day if I do that.
5 minutes. Today she's letting her husband do the work.
Let the saw do the work. I pressed too hard on it last time.
Justin takes over, leaving his wife as a witness to her own project. But Candace doesn't see that these two boards have been cut too short. Ruth is doing her own work, but screwing takes a while. A long while. Before screwing anything, Harvey correctly uses the square to make sure Terry's base is really a rectangle.
Terry doesn't look too busy there.
No, his nominator looks very busy. Usually the field test is pretty good.
Jaime, you better look again. Make sure you're doing it right. So, do you want me to hold this end here?
Yeah.
Oh, I was supposed to wait till you told me what to do. Hey, this is a bit twisted, or my eyes twisted.
As Terry gets close to the end, he rushes and makes a mistake.
Hold this flush.
He puts the cross piece on his bracket before it's at the correct angle.
Keep going, Herb.
What do you mean?
I got the thing right there. This has to come out more.
Some didn't work out, did it?
Terry's frame isn't at the correct angle.
It has to come this way some.
Every day, the sun's trajectory changes. So, for optimum light collection, the solar panel's angle should be flatter in the summer and steeper in the winter. Today, the perfect angle is 60 degrees. Terry is under the delusion that close enough is good enough.
There.
Got it?
You done?
Terry's first angle isn't 60.
It's off a degree or two.
And his second is worse.
That's a big difference.
We're gonna have our 60-degree angle.
To help them get that all-important 60-degree angle, we've given everyone a speed square with a T-bevel, and they are causing confusion.
I don't think that's how it works, Mom.
Is that 60 right there?
So we'll just go like that, I guess?
She guesses. No. This speed square replaces guessing. When positioned in any corner, the movable arm can be adjusted to read the exact angle. It's the adult version of a protractor.
I don't know how to work that.
So how are you going to check it?
I haven't a clue.
How do you use this freaking thing?
See right in here?
Yeah.
That tells you the degrees.
Yeah.
You said you need 60. So now you take this down here. Sit it flat, just like that. And that's not quite 60 degrees.
It's not quite 60?
No.
Okay. When Jaime gets everything readjusted, it's still not 60 degrees. Meanwhile,
take your time.
Jeff is relying on Fred to constantly tell him the obvious.
Keep your weight on it. Come over a bit. Toss it in the bucket behind there. Trying not to put the screw through my thumb, okay?
Even with Fred's help, Jeff's frame is off kilter. But Jeff doesn't care.
It's a fraction of a thing, but I'm sure.
You want to rebuild it?
As a solution, Jeff sticks in a loose wedge.
Fred saw the wedge and he made the wedge.
Jeff fails to take responsibility for his own irregularities. Jaime is measuring. Again.
What are you doing on doing it?
Yeah, I'm gonna move it here.
How many times is it now, really?
At least 3.
If we didn't have a time limit,
You'd be here all day.
All the other contestants, they were getting some help, and I didn't think I was getting any help. I thought I was being nagged at.
Eventually, Jaime runs out of things to adjust.
I think it's right.
It is right. In just under an hour. Candace is perplexed.
We have 60 degrees.
That's 60 right there. Right on the line. You can't have anything different.
It's so close.
It's close. It's not right, though.
Candace must never have seen a T-bevel on a home renovation show.
What's going on with this gap here?
Candace?
I'm trying to figure that out right now. This has to be down at an angle. Try to use my angler. I think. I don't know.
Pop those screws out.
Following Harvey's orders, Terry gets perfect angles.
That's 60.
Terry's done. In just over an hour. But Harvey did all the thinking.
If I hadn't been there, it wouldn't have turned out the way it did.
You're gonna measure that first to make sure it's 60 degrees? No? She fully admits that she doesn't know how to measure properly.
Ruth thinks she's done. But she's not.
I want to see that flush.
She didn't measure properly.
That angle's not right.
Instead of fixing her work, Ruth goes for a wedge.
That's it.
It's a stake in the heart of Ruth's project.
Whoa!
All right, that's good. Just clag it on. Clag it. Beautiful.
That's not beautiful. And it's not what we asked for. The last person working still can't figure out where to put the speed square.
I go this way.
Finally, Justin shows her.
That's it?
Yeah.
Candace has a proper frame, but she has no idea how it got that way. After the break,
Why can't we just run an extension cord?
the handymen get a shocking lesson.
White on white, black on black. No sparky.
To find Canada's worst handyman, we're having the 5 candidates you nominated build ecologically friendly sheds. But 4 of them have asked us to start them off with frames that are too tall to get through our workshop door.
When these sheds are finished, we're donating them to Habitat for Humanity. In fact, they've already been auctioned off sight unseen. So if you bought one of these things, sorry.
The next step in shed construction is wiring. Before that can happen, though, the handymen need a lesson.
Basically, the theory of electrical is the flow of current. Positive power, black. Negative power, white.
To achieve flow from a light switch to a light, to another light, and back again, you need to connect the color-coded wires.
White on white, black on black. No sparky. Okay, so let's look at the process of what you're going to do. First, you're going to install your boxes. And there's your box, and you just nail it right into the 2x4.
This rectangular box is for the light switch. For the light itself, use an octagon box.
The octagon boxes are installed with screws. Wire your 2 white wires together, white on white, black. Goes through into this box. When you get your fixture, black on black, white on white.
When the sun hits one of these solar panels, the captured energy will be transferred to these car batteries. When it's needed, the weak current from those batteries flows through this inverter where it becomes more powerful.
I don't even know where to start.
If Canada's worst handymen start at the right place, this job should take about an hour and a half. To make sure they all have an easy time with this task,
I have no idea what this all is.
we've given our builders a detailed schematic drawing of the perfectly wired system. If they can connect the dots, they'll have a constant supply of free power. If they can't connect the dots, they won't be able to juice up their rechargeable tools.
My battery's going. Yeah, it's going.
Jeff begins by installing his boxes incorrectly. In class, Jill told everyone to extend their boxes past their studs by a
½ inch.
Jeff's box isn't extended at all, and Jaime's extends too far.
This needs to be 1.5 inches out.
Is it supposed to stick out like that?
Whoa. That's good.
Ruth installs her light switch higher than her own head.
Think.
Ruth doesn't think. Her light fixture boxes go on the wall, meaning her lights will shine right in her eyes.
I can't see. My glasses are fogging up.
Jaime puts his box on the very bottom of what's called his ridge board.
He's just creating something that's going to be ugly.
Because Jaime and Terry both failed to recess their ugly boxes, they're going to have to look at them even after the lights are installed.
This is confusing. I've never done electrical, ever. This is so confusing. I don't understand this at all. I don't even, it's so confusing.
While Candace looks for inspiration,
Well, the wiring is gonna be not that bad, I think.
Jaime, Terry, and Ruth begin drilling holes to run their wires through.
This is the slowest drill I've ever used.
Maybe you're going in reverse, Mom.
I'm not in reverse, Michelle.
Not anymore, she's not.
I'm seeing daylight.
Using the same technique, Jeff tries valiantly to drill a hole for over a minute.
Sure, take a shot.
You're in reverse.
These holes may look like they're compromising the wall strength, but according to building code, 1-inch holes are fine provided they're in the middle of the stud. There, the wires inside can't be pierced by a nail or screw.
Heaven forbid you do drill a hole in the wrong spot. You can get this, a protector plate. Put it over the wire, nail it down, and now no nail will ever strike the wire.
After staring at different objects for the last half hour, Candace finally has a glimmer of understanding.
Yes.
Oh.
And she begins by nearly breaking her husband's thumb.
Can I get you to hammer it?
While Justin does the work, Candace gets her ladder.
You ever work one of these?
Oh, you got it locked in.
These articulating ladders
Well, I want it up here.
can be positioned
It's the middle you have to bring up.
I know.
into 8
Just wait. Hang on a minute.
handy configurations
Oh, I want to stand on like a scaffold.
and dozens of dangerous ones.
Like that?
You're gonna fall right between. You're gonna hurt yourself. What's the weight on this ladder? You son of a...
Injuries resulting from bad ladder use cause over 8,000 emergency room visits per year. And that's just in Ontario alone. Hundreds more go to the emergency room because of accidents with electricity.
It kills. That's what Jill says. Remember, electricity kills.
Harry needs to know this. Back in Sault Ste. Marie, he put substandard electricity into his man shed.
You've wired your own shed before.
What an extension cord. Not like this. Why can't we just run an extension cord? It'd be easier.
When running wires,
Oh, no.
always cut off more than you need.
Are we short?
Thing's too short.
Hey, did you measure that? Because last time you cut too short.
Mom, look what you did.
What did I do?
You cut the wire.
And don't peel back to protect insulation before threading it into a light box. It'll get stuck. Some of these boxes have to move.
Think about why this is wrong.
I know why it's wrong. I didn't know how to fix it.
Your ceiling cover is supposed to come flush with this, right? Are you using a 2-inch ceiling cover?
Okay. Harv, what? That's you.
Terry raises the box, but forgets to let half an inch stick out.
Does that have to be flush or does that have to come down a bit?
No, it don't have to come down a bit.
No?
After 57 minutes, Ruth has managed to run a few wires.
What are we doing?
I don't know what I'm doing.
But that's all she's managed to do.
Did you put your ground on?
No, I'm trying to pull that there. See, get that one. Oh, well.
The ground wire is the bare copper wire that runs alongside the black and white wires.
You have to make sure the ground wire goes around the green screw head in any octagon box. Otherwise, you'll be the one who's screwed.
When the ground wire gets attached to every box, it should be run literally outside to the ground. Its function is to carry away any excess power that might otherwise electrify the light fixture itself.
I don't know where the ground's going.
I'm guessing this is the ground here? It doesn't tell me.
No. I'm not sure where the ground is. We got a problem.
Terry can't get the ground wire on his light switch.
What's the problem?
We got a black and a white and a ground. What I was thinking is put another wire up there, bring it down here, and then you have 2 black, and then you have 2 white, and then you just ground it right here. You know what I'm saying?
No, I don't. But I do know that you should never attach a black wire to a white wire.
So I just wire the switch up a black and a white. Is that and the ground it out?
Would have to be one hell of a ground if you're going to attach a black to a white.
I know.
Zhunk.
Yeah.
Jaime has attached a black to a white.
What the heck are you doing?
I have to twist this one.
Which completely twists Sheila.
Does that look right to you?
I didn't take electrical. Did you? Covered in class? I didn't go to school.
I think Jaime's mother-in-law's driving him right up the wall.
Any tools you need now, you have to jump down and get them. I'm done.
Okay.
So I quit. I'm out.
Sure, if you want to be out, if you don't want to help, then why
I
be
can't
there?
help somebody who doesn't want help.
He wants you to turn screws for him. He wants you to do things for him, but you're denying.
Turn screws for him? I don't think so. If I can't get in there and do it, then I may as well leave. I refuse to help somebody who doesn't want to listen.
After the break, we'll find out who's charged up and who's in the dark.
Please make it work.
The nation's most confused carpenters are even worse at wiring. These people are trying to get solar power flowing into their eco-sheds. They're also trying to not be named Canada's worst handyman.
But both of these have to be moved over here.
I'm doing that now.
This is really confusing, this electrical, I tell you that much.
To make this project easy, we've given everyone a detailed schematic of the correct way to wire their sheds.
I don't know where that goes.
This here goes to the solar panel. You got this hooked up wrong.
When Terry gets all his connections made, his fuses installed, and his bulbs screwed in, he connects the heavy gauge wire that will run from the panel to the car batteries. We'll bring those batteries in for the test later.
Good job, brother.
Good job, brother. I think we did pretty good.
Trying to screw in her light, Candace spins the bulb until it snaps off in the socket.
I'm just trying to screw it in.
How many bad handymen does it take to screw in a light bulb?
What the hell?
Justin finally sees the problem.
Oh, hon, you broke it.
How did I break it?
You broke it.
One of those lights, 90 bucks.
Oh.
Energy efficiency comes at a price.
Does it ever? The price for each of these solar panels is over $1,200, and the inverter panels cost $425. When you add on wire, light bulbs, and other expenses, the overall cost of free electricity is $2,300. That doesn't allow for errors.
This will be the dark corner of your shed.
If you find yourself with a dangling bulb, turn the electricity off and use pliers to sever the wires. Then,
Get a potato. Cut that bad boy in half, then use the cleaner to be jammed right on there. And watch this. The light bulb should, yes, come right out. Safe.
Candace is nowhere close to getting electricity to flow.
This has to hook up to here. I know that.
But the tears are about to flow.
Don't sit there and shake your head. What do you want me to do?
I don't know.
Justin doesn't want to see his wife cry, so he bites the bullet and finishes wiring Candace's shed for her.
Call Andrew, because I think you're done.
Done.
When Jaime's done, he goes onto the roof and connects all the solar panels and runs the wires back into the warehouse. By the time the batteries get lugged in and hooked up to the waiting systems,
We're going.
yeah, Jeff finishes, but not Ruth.
We're in a torture chamber, yes.
With one flick of the switch, we'll know if Jeff's shed is wired correctly.
Please make it work.
After 2 hours and 45 minutes of wiring, Jeff is still in the dark. Terry's next for the test.
Bonus.
Terry correctly wired his shed in a couple of hours, although his octagon boxes still aren't positioned correctly.
True enough.
Behind Justin is a broken bulb.
Fire that switch.
No.
Candace has snapped off another one, and because her first bulb is broken, this second one won't light up. That's one of the problems with this kind of eco wiring. Now, the bulb's changed, but
It still doesn't work.
after 2.5 hours of friction, Candace and her husband have no spark.
The electrical was very, very complicated.
Before Jaime's test, his switch is already up.
Yeah, I put that upside down.
Flip that switch, sir.
Yeah! Jaime made some mistakes, but his lights are on.
Some of this went into that.
While Ruth settles into her 3rd hour of wiring,
Hey, wait. That's gotta go here.
I bring in the head of our lighting crew to see if he can sort out other people's problems. He finds Jeff's mistake in 20 seconds.
Where were we bad?
Oh, loose connection, boys.
Oh,
Tight connections. You always have to have nice tight connections. There you go. See?
In Candace's shed, he finds a fire waiting to happen.
Was it connected to the wrong screw?
Yeah.
And in Ruth's shed, it's worse.
Okay, I'm going to feed this through for you.
Our poor lighting guy has to spend half an hour disconnecting and reconnecting over a dozen mistakes.
Black to black. White to white.
In the end, he gets Ruth to light up,
It's on.
but we have to call her efforts a fail. 5 bad builders are making 5 awful sheds. After the break, we'll name this episode's worst handyman. It's time now for the experts and I to take a final look at the work done in this episode so we can decide who is the most important improved and who is the worst.
This is Ruth's shed, and it's got some issues.
At the beginning of this episode, Ruth had the shortest shed. Now,
She made it too high.
and her fixtures are too low.
She was too lazy to raise her lights up.
Ruth didn't get the exact angles on her solar panels.
I don't think that's how it works, Mom.
She didn't complete her own wiring, and she needed answers to the simplest questions.
Where's my drill? How can I have 4 wires here? Why is it 2 screws?
Jeff's next. He also redesigned his shed so it's too tall to fit through our door. And he stayed with a flat roof.
The snow stays on there, water stays up on there. You got to have some kind of slope.
A flat roof, you can't waterproof them. It's going to leak.
In Candace's shed, the lights were put in the wrong places.
Lights on the side, it creates shadows. It's supposed to be a workspace.
These lights should have been on the rafters because they're less likely to get damaged.
I may be the worst again. And it'll be very discouraging if I am.
The biggest mistake made by Jaime this episode was not following our height restriction.
He disregards instruction.
It's an avoidance technique.
And he is somewhat closed-minded.
The final shed here belongs to Terry. It's also too tall, and when it comes to the work...
Terry didn't do a whole lot of it.
Yeah, I saw his nominator doing quite a bit of the work.
Yeah.
And that work is not safe.
It's exposed again here, right? You got this wire coming around. It's not tucked in.
And the group project.
Which should be rock solid by now.
This is not marble. This is a collection of bricks, right? This is not, there's nothing holds
Nothing
it together,
held.
right?
No.
Should this hold after a day?
Absolutely, it should hold after a day.
Taking instruction and taking responsibility. Not happening.
It's time to take the tool belt back from Jeff and name this episode's most improved handyman.
We almost canceled the announcement of the most improved this episode because, quite frankly, you all slid horribly backwards. In fact, only one of you renovated your shed in a way that falls within our building guidelines. And that person is Candace.
Congratulations.
It's time to name the worst. The worst person this episode is the person who didn't do a single thing correctly, except beat Jeff.
I'm talking about you, Ruth.
I know.
Ruth got stuck with the worst this episode because of her bad craftsmanship.
It's very crooked.
Her inability to follow instructions.
Wait. That's got to go here.
And her big mistake, asking us to raise her eco shed.
Make these walls 8 feet 10.
To a height higher than the door it has to leave through.
Oh, well.
She seems a little upset that she's the worst this week.
I don't know what the hell I was doing. That's what happened. I don't have a clue what I'm doing. I have no idea. I don't know where to put any wire. I don't know if I'm going to cut it or what the hell I'm going to do because I don't know what I'm doing.
If my mom keeps this up, she definitely is Canada's worst handyman. In fact, I think she is already.
On the next episode of Canada's Worst Handyman.
Oh!
Energy-efficient windows get framed. Eco insulation goes in, and the temperature rises accordingly.
This is the that pisses me off.
A crash course and a chance at rehabilitation on Canada's Worst Handyman. Next week. Ride the cutting edge of construction technology on Ultimate Engineering. Tomorrow. Uncover the future of conflict as the next generation of military hardware is unveiled on Future Weapons. Tomorrow.